Hello everybody, this is Anna. Welcome to my channel. So I have a very exciting orchid unboxing. I saw this orchid on Peter Lin's website at Bigleaforchids a couple weeks ago, and he's been waiting for this orchid to bloom out a little bit to ship to me, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So there is only one orchid here, and I'm extremely excited. Okay, so I had to put on my camera for a second to take it out of the box, but I just want to show you what a gorgeous orchid this is. It's absolutely breathtaking. And the size of the bloom, these blooms are quite large. So let me just take the wrapper out so you can see it. So now I removed the wrapper. Let's just take a moment and appreciate the beauty of this orchid. Oh my goodness, it's so lovely. I have 3 blooms. Wow. And this is, let's see what the name of this one is. Peloric ES. So I wonder what the normal one looks like. Oh my goodness, this is so lovely. I've been on pins and needles. I've been just checking the tracking, and it was supposed to arrive like yesterday, and then it got changed today. So I was just looking every 2 hours to see where it is, and just couldn't wait. This is such a gorgeous orchid. I think this is my new favorite. Oh my gosh, guys, it's amazing. I don't know if you can see the pattern on this. And this one opening up, it is also Peloric. Okay, so that is my, oops, that is my surprise unboxing. What do you think, guys? This is not the most beautiful orchid ever. If this is not, then I don't know what is. Okay guys, so while we're on the topic of Peloric orchids, I just want to quickly show you what I have in my collection. So I became really fascinated with Peloric orchid after I saw the I think the most famous Peloric orchid on the internet is the Orchid Whisperer's Fel Legato. And I was really fascinated. I said, oh, what kind of orchid is that? And I kept asking around, and apparently it's really impossible to find because it's not, I mean, it's not a normal form. These orchids are a gene mutation. And then let's say you have thousands of orchids and a few, like 1 or 2 mutate into Peloric form. And that's all you have. And some people are lucky to just find them, you know, in a big box store. Like this Peloric I got from Peter Lin at Bigleaforchids. I mean, he only had a couple of them, and I got one. And who knows when the next one is gonna come along. So they're pretty hard to come by. So what exactly is a Peloric orchid? So Peloric orchids are a gene mutation, but from what I read, it's not a defect or deformity. Although some people might say that it's a defect, and it's not a deformity in the sense that only the blooms have this mutation, but the rest of the orchid still have the normal functions. So it still has its reproductive cycle. It carries out its life just as a normal orchid. So sorry, my dog is making all kinds of weird noise in the background. So yeah, I mainly really love the aesthetics of this orchid. And if you look at the petal compared to the labellum, and the petal is imitating the labellum of the orchid. So if you tell me this petal look like the lip of the orchid, I would say, yeah, it kind of does. So this would be a full Peloric orchid. But if you like this one, this is called, so you can see, I mean, the petal definitely looks like the lip. And this one is Norman's Baby Pumpkin. And this is actually, I don't know the process of like how the growers make these orchids, but it's not a one of a kind. They had a number of the same orchids there. So versus this one here. Now this is, for me, it looked like some kind of Picardy orchid, but it is in Peloric form. But if you tell me this petal look like the lip, I would say no way, it doesn't look like the lip. But it does have a slight bulge in the middle, and from what I understand, this orchid would be called a semi-Peloric orchid. And some people say that you know, if an orchid is Peloric, there is a possibility that the next year it could reverse back to its original form. But these orchids all seem pretty stable. I can't imagine. I mean, every single one of the bloom is blooming Peloric. So I can't imagine they would reverse back to the normal form at the following year. I do have one though that is slightly Peloric, and so I think, you know, perhaps that one might go back. So but not these ones I have here on the table. And this one was just something I found at Home Depot. I think it could just be a one-off because, I mean, it's not very, you can look, the orchid isn't very stable. Like the blooms are not very symmetrical. Like this one, this is a normal petal. This looks more Peloric. So this is a little bit freaky, but I kind of like it. And this would be called a light-cast orchid. And the blooms are a little bit messed up because I guess they came from the store and probably got beat up during shipping and the display. So, but it's a very healthy plant. And you can see these petals don't bloom fully. It just cups. So this is not going to open, and this type of Peloric orchid are called light cast. And here I have two orchids that are Peloric but are not currently in bloom. This is the Sodoma Sunset, and this is a fabulous Peloric orchid. This one I got a Norman's orchid, and it was absolutely a one-off orchid. And it has already finished blooming. I really love this orchid, and it's doing okay. I mean, I'm seeing a new leaf growing, so I'm pretty happy. It's not in a very tight pot because I thought I saw a little bit of moldy stuff at the base, so that made me nervous. So I sprayed a little bit of cinnamon, and it's been drying. And what I do when I notice something going, maybe have the signs of starting to rot, what I do is I would remove some of the moss. This has to do with how I water my orchid, and I tend to really overwater when the orchid is in moss. So it's just something that I have to be careful. So what I do is I just carefully remove some of the moss. That way and then I removed that really tight out liner pot, and I just set it down in a little bigger container. It's still standing upright, but there's a lot of airflow, and it dries so much quicker. And I think in my environment, when the orchid dries like every 7 to 10 days, that is really optimal for me. So that is my Philosodoma Sunset. It seems like this might be a slightly older orchid compared to, let's say, this one. And this is the American Beauty Candy Apple that's already finished blooming. And I will show you a clip of the orchid. So I noticed that when my orchids finish blooming, there's just period where it's not really doing much. Like I have 2 of these, and the normal form of the same orchid has already grown a new leaf, but this one I've yet to see any activity. But it's also quite beautiful. It's a waxy red colored bloom. Okay, and coming back to the star of the show today, the Philometool King ES Peloric Orchid. This is just absolutely fantastic. I mentioned earlier that Peter waited until the blooms opened up a little bit to ship them out to me, and the reason is because he said there is a possibility that the orchids could reverse back to normal, and obviously not, so I am super happy. Okay guys, so that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this little episode about Peloric Orchids, and I hope to see you again next time. Thank you.